I really enjoyed. Huh? To what?
No, no, no. Do your thing. Sorry, I get really excited about this movie. Apparently.
No, what do you want to transition to? From penis to what?
No, it was mostly into Ken specifically because he's the one who said the thing. Because we could talk about Ken and his role in the movie, but I want to hear what you liked about this movie first.
I was going to mention him. So you mentioned the cast. I was going to say like I liked. It was shocking to me that they were able to get such big stars to play like these side Kens. But he didn't steal the movie, but sure as fuck Ryan Gosling did try, right? Like there was something about him where like he was just, I don't know how to describe it. But I loved punchable, but also like as soon as he gets to the real world, I was like, I don't think this is gonna go well for them. And like they did such a good job of seeding in this idea. Like once she's in the real world, she's like, I don't like this. There's a hint of violence to like everyone looking at me. And he's like, I feel respected. He's like, there's no violence. And I was like, no. And man, it was so much fun watching them on their opposite journeys. I just enjoyed it. What did you
when he went to Century? He went to Century City and was sort of seeing all like the patriarchy stuff. He's like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. So funny. And then like, I mean, I didn't expect like as this was happening, I was having that same feeling as you, where I was said, I don't think this is gonna go the way we think. I did not expect going into this movie that Ken would be the main villain, and that all of the Kens would be the main villain, and that literally this movie would just be about freaking bros taking over Barbie land. It's just so weird. It is so weird, but yes, so funny and satisfying. And it's funny, like I was just like partway through the movie, I was like, where is this going? I don't know where this is going, and I am here for the journey. Men are the bad
guys.
So funny.
The bad guy was really the patriarchy.
Yes, the patriarchy.
I really respect that idea, right? Because it didn't have to come down to like, I mean, it did turn into a fight, but it didn't have to be like the Kens have to go and the Barbies have to say. It didn't become that. And I respected the idea that they could come to some agreement about who they were without having to fall in love again or any, like, it was such a good, well-written ending for their characters, where they're just like, no, we just need to figure out who we are without necessarily each other. And it doesn't have to be like we fall in love or anything like that. And I was like, I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to make a lot of people angry, I think, with this, but I really appreciated the end was not well, now the Kens and the Barbies run Barbie Land 50-50 and everything is equal. I really liked that it was just like, no, we're going to make this realistic to what actually happened, gender swapped in real world of like, oh, you have some power now. Oh, not that much. Calm down. Like back up.
It's like, yeah. What do you say? Can we have a Supreme Court justice? Like, well, about lower circuit court.
You can have a lower court. You can have a lower court, and eventually maybe you'll be able to get as much power as women do in the real world.
The right wing I just heard screaming in the ether.
Did you guys, so there was this big controversy that happened when this movie came out about the 9- line. You guys know what that is?
No.
Kyle, do you know what this is?
The map thing?
Yes. Okay, so there's this big controversy. This film was not released, it was boycotted in Vietnam, and that's because there is this 9- line that China draws in the South China Sea to say, we own all of this. And if you look at the map, it's like Asia, and there is a line suspiciously like the 9- line. There are 8 of them in the movie, and Vietnam's like, fuck that, we're going to boycott this. And it's kind of an interesting thing. I did not get a chance to see if China had anything to do with the financing of this movie, but that would have been fascinating because, like, I remember with Top Gun, that was a big deal. They took the Taiwanese patch off of Maverick's jacket because that's one of the missions that his father flew, and Tencent, who's a Chinese company, is heavily involved in financing that film. Anyway, just an interesting aside. I was curious if you guys noticed it or cared, paid attention. No. Okay. What else do you guys have to say about this? Anything? I feel like comedies are really hard to talk about sometimes.
I mean, there was luckily a lot to talk about in terms of the messaging. I think the messaging was really funny. They really
Let's talk
went for it.
message.
They did not. Well, I mean, it's about the patriarchy and how toxic it is, and how frankly unfair it is. Period. And I mean, that's it.
Deprogramming.
It's a lot. It's variations of that. Yeah. Oh yeah, the deprogramming of how women are made to. They're conditioned to act and feel a certain way in our society, and how that works. It's just there's just so much there, and I'm just impressed that they went for it as hard as they did. That they unabashedly, like, I would have thought given the I don't know what the budget of this movie was, but given how much they clearly wanted to make off of this movie, as any studio does, I was surprised they let them be as frankly polarizing as this movie kind of deserves to be.
Approximately 145 million.
145 million. That seems expensive, considering.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense though, because I do like that they really. It's a reminder of like Barbie was and is kind of that like, hey, girls don't need to be moms. Girls can be doctors and astronauts, and like Barbie has always been a massive feminist property. So it was kind of nice
also
reminder.
problematic.
But also problematic, which I think they did a really good job of being like, no, you make women feel bad about their bodies. It's like, but I'm trying to say you could be president.
Yeah.
I love this scene.
So I don't know if I have anything
feeling
else to
bad
add
about
about that.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
There was that one joke that just like made me laugh out loud about the cellulite, where she said something like, you can have the stiletto or you can have the Birkenstock. She was like, the first one, stiletto. She's like, no, you're supposed to want. She's like, no, I don't care. I want that. She's like, fine, get cellulite. I don't care.
And speaking of the Birkenstocks,
Like-
the end, just the last line. I'm here to see my gynecologist. That was hilarious. I love that they ended with that of all things.
Great final.
I don't
line.
know if that joke worked for me. It
Why
didn't
not?
work for me? Like, I think it was built up too much.
That was the point. Is that you think it's going to be this huge life-changing moment, but literally, it's just I have
Real being a
vagina.
woman. Like, I have to be a woman now. Crap.
I don't know. I'm not a writer. I don't know what I would have done different.
What would you
I
have
just
had
know
her
that
say
from-
instead? I'm here to start my 9-to-5 job here at Mattel.
No, that's clearly what they were setting you up for, right?
Yeah.
So I knew it wasn't going to be that. I don't know what I would have done different. I just know that didn't. I was like, meh. For something that was making me feel like this, that kind of left me on a plateau right at the end. I was like, yeah, well, that is a way to end it. But I thought that this movie had some really, really good lines. You're talking about messaging. There were 3 lines that stuck out to me. There was one where she said, you can't make the world perfect, but you can make it better. Kirsten, you brought up the brainwashing. There was one that said, you're either brainwashed or weird. There's no in between. And then I like the one that I
Or weird and
absolutely
ugly.
loved. Yeah, weird and
Just
ugly.
weird and
Yeah. The line that I absolutely love that I will probably take away from this movie was, mothers stand still so daughters can see how far they've come. That was probably my absolute favorite line from this movie. I love that. So to the point of having like this really raucous comedy that just went all over the place, was completely weird. They definitely went forward in having a message, and just some of the dialogue they were able to come up with was a lot of fun. So I enjoyed it. Yeah, go see this.
Last thing I will say is that I told Kirsten this morning or yesterday, I don't remember, where Margot Robbie, when she pitched it to the studio, she basically said, this could be $1 billion movie. In an interview, she was just like, I may have oversold it, but we're just trying to get a movie made. I really hope this movie makes $1 billion. I don't think it will, but that'd be pretty awesome if it did. And I also know that Margot Robbie is kind of overdue for a financial success. So fingers crossed that this one makes it, because it took risks. It kind of went there. And I think we should reward movies that take risks.
Yeah.
I'm saying that about a Barbie movie. What's wrong with me? It's so weird.
Crazy.
That
It's crazy.
it was so good. I loved it. I legitimately teared up at the end a little bit. I thought it was amazing. Everyone should see Barbie.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We can
And
say
also we should add horses to the patriarchy.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
We should. Mm-hmm.
If you guys want to jump out of spoilers, I do have one question for you. Though.